Hi, I'm an elementary school teacher in Howard County, Maryland. My students and I have been researching coal tar sealants and the dangers that they possess to humans and to aquatic life. Our mission is to have coal tar sealants banned from Howard County, the county that we live in, and ultimately in the state of Maryland. The purpose of this presentation is to provide information about coal tar sealants, the dangerous chemicals in them called PAHs, and the harm that they can do, as well as providing some alternatives that companies can use instead of coal tar sealants. We hope that you not only enjoy the presentation, but learn a lot from it. We would love to hear the feedback that you have. There are 3 students that are going to give this presentation who have been just incredible leaders all along the way. I can't thank them and all of the 16 students enough for all the work that they've done. Keep in mind that this was done by 5th graders. Not only will you be impressed, but you will learn a lot from this presentation for sure. Thank you so much.
Hello, today we're going to teach you all about coal tar sealants. Our presentation is the many dangers of coal tar sealant. Here in the background you can see a person is putting on coal tar sealant on a driveway. First they dump it on the driveway and then they spread it around using a squeegee.
What are coal tar sealants? Coal tar sealants are substances put on driveways, blacktops, and parking lots that are used to extend the life of asphalt. They're also applied because they look nice. Coal tar sealants contain dangerous chemicals called PAHs. In picture A, there is someone who is dumping coal tar sealants onto a driveway. Like Sophia said, they then use a brush to spread it around. In picture B, there was someone spraying coal tar sealants onto a parking lot. That is another way to put coal tar sealants down. In picture A, this guy is only wearing shorts. You see, he has some coal tar on his ankle, and that can give skin irritations and rashes. In pictures A and B, these people are only wearing short sleeve shirts. That gives exposure to the dangerous coal tar sealants. But what's even more dangerous is that in picture B, like it's circled, he is not wearing a mask, so he is breathing in all of the dust from coal tar sealants, and that can give a higher risk to cancer.
What are PAHs? Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons are the harmful chemicals in coal tar sealants that cause rashes, skin irritations, cancers, mutations, birth defects, and even death. They're also toxic to aquatic animals, including fish and aquatic invertebrates. Picture A, you can see a benzene compound, which is a non-carcinogen, and it is also a PAH. Picture B, you can see other harmful PAHs.
This is PAHs in urban sources. These are concentrations in milligrams per kilogram. So on the left are things we use in everyday life, and they're milligrams per kilogram of PAHs. So like diesel engine or gasoline engine. But on the right is mostly what we're focusing on, just pavement seal coat. So asphalt base is about 50 milligrams per kilogram of PAHs, and coal tar base has 70,000. And that's exceeding the harmful levels of PAHs in the sediment, which is 22.8 milligrams per kilogram.
PAHs and the environment. Coal tar contains 16 PAHs, and they're all classified as U.S. Environmental Protection Agency priority pollutants, including naphthalene and pyrene. When benthic organisms or bottom dwellers are exposed to PAHs, they experience problems like loss of consciousness, inability to reproduce, and death, and that can disrupt the whole food chain. In the picture, you can see some examples of bottom dwellers that can get affected.
So this is a graphic on how coal tar sealants can get around. So the biggest point that we're focusing on is the runoff. So when it rains, the stormwater runs off into lakes and rivers, and the coal tar sealants can carry with that, and that can lead to a higher risk of toxicity of aquatic animals. And 2 other things we're focusing on is the tracking and adhesion. So they're pretty similar because when the coal tar dust sticks to like the tire or shoes, it can carry them to places where coal tar sealants may not be. Runoff into streams and lakes. So this is a picture of a coal tar sealed parking lot. As you can see, the drain is circled because the coal tar sealants were put on top of the drain. That's a high risk because the coal tar sealants could have gotten into the drain and been a high risk for animals that live near where that was put down. Also, you can see across the parking lot there are scrapes. The researchers think that there was a snowplow that was snowplowing snow into the grass, but it accidentally picked up a little bit of coal tar dust that is going in the direction of the drain. And even when the coal tar is dry, it's still a dangerous effect because all of the rain can drain into the stormwater drain, and the coal tar sealants can be carried with that. So small streams in Austin, Texas had PAH measurements in the thousands of milligrams per kilogram, and the coal tar sealants are 10 times more likely to affect fragile species at the bottom of the food chain than the asphalt sealants.
PAHs and environmental health. Varying levels of exposure to PAHs from sealants are toxic to human and aquatic health. They're acutely toxic to fathead minnows and water fleas. In picture A, there is a healthy brown bullhead catfish. But in picture B, there is a brown bullhead catfish with a lip tumor. This happened to it because it was in water with concentrations above the PEC. These fish are found throughout Maryland, where we live, including the Patuxent and Patapsco rivers. They are also found in other major rivers in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. So, because they live in Howard County, it is not banned here yet. So all the pH concentrations can run down to the Chesapeake Bay and hurt all the animals living there.
This is the effects on aquatic life. So fish embryos that are exposed to low amounts of PAHs can develop eyes with shorter retinas and smaller lenses, misshaped hearts, and abnormal heartbeats. So these arrows are pointing to the gallbladder of two different salmon. Salmon A was exposed to coal tar because the gallbladder is black. In salmon B, it was not because the gallbladder is green, and that's what it's supposed to be. This is about spotted salamanders. The National Institute of Health, the NIH, tested the effects of the toxicity of coal tar pavement sealants on them. They found that there was a negative effect on swimming. That is concerning because, as you can see on the map, the spotted salamanders live here, or near where we live. Also, the spotted salamanders' favorite habitats are forests near rivers and streams. Coal tar runoff can get into the rivers and streams and hurt the salamanders. Below the map is a picture of a spotted salamander in a forest.
This is some information from and about the National Cancer Institute, the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. These agencies have found that the exposure to PAHs increases risk of cancers in humans and animals, including skin, lung, kidney, bladder, and stomach cancers. Coal tar sealant cancer risks are approximately 1 excess cancer per 10,000 exposed individuals. There are about 6 million people in Maryland. That means 600 excess cancers. Currently, because of bans in 3 Maryland counties, 2.4 million people are protected. However, this is alarming considering millions of Americans, including little children, live in communities where coal tar sealants are frequently used. This slide is about pH concentrations in houses from coal tar sealants. Houses adjacent to coal tar sealant parking lots contain concentrations of pHs 25 times higher than houses collected in houses near unsealed or asphalt-sealed parking lots. Children crawl and play around floors and put their fingers in their mouths a lot, so they have a higher chance of being affected by PAHs. Household dust with PAHs leads to an elevated cancer risk for children, which no one wants.
These are the concentrations of PAHs in milligrams per kilogram for coal tar-based sealed houses and unsealed pavement or asphalt-based sealed houses. So the coal tar seal coat has about 66,000 milligrams per kilogram of PAH concentrations, and asphalt seal only has 50. So we'll give you some amazing statistics that will say why we think we should ban coal tar sealants. So in the pavement dust, there is 2,200 milligrams per kilogram of PAHs for coal tar-based seal coat, and only 9 for unsealed or asphalt-based sealed. And another amazing statistic is the lake and reservoir sediment. So there are about 33 milligrams per kilogram of PAH concentrations for coal tar-based seal coat and only 0.4 for unsealed or acetal-based sealant. That is a huge difference in the PAH concentrations.
Soil, sediments, and volatility. Dust on sealed pavement has about 1,000 times the concentrations of PAHs than unsealed pavements.
This slide is also about soils, sediments, and volatility. So PAH concentrations in the air above sealed parking lots is 60 times higher than unsealed lots. And after it is applied, PAH concentration is 5,000 times higher. So these are two pictures of schools that have coal tar sealants applied to them. So in the picture on the left, this is a parking lot with coal tar sealants. That is very dangerous because children walk in the parking lot every day to get to school, and they have a high risk of getting cancer or irritations and rashes. In the picture on the right, this is a playground or a blacktop that has coal tar sealants on it. This is also extremely dangerous because kids play basketball, they play on the playground, or they draw, as you can see in the picture. And when they get down low to the ground, some of the coal tar sealants can get onto their leg, like you saw on the first slide.
This graphic shows the pH concentrations coming from each house with a different seal coat. In the first house, they do not have a seal coat on their driveway, so the pH concentrations are less than 23 milligrams per kilogram. The next house, which uses acetal-based seal coat, has 54 milligrams per kilogram. It is a lot more than the unsealed, but is a lot less than the next house, which is using coal tar-based seal coat. They have a lot of red dots, which represent the pH concentrations coming from each kind of driveway. You can see that they have 3,500 milligrams per kilogram, and that can harm all animals. All these pH concentrations drain down into the same lakes and rivers, so even if there is one house around your neighborhood with a coal tar-based seal coat, that can still affect a lot of animals.
This is pH concentration by source type in milligrams per kilogram. So these are urban lakes tested across the United States. The coal tar seal coats bar is red, and you can see on the East Coast where we live, coal tar seal coat is the majority of pH concentrations in the air. And even on the West Coast, where you saw on the map, where coal tar sealants are not usually used, coal tar seal coat is still the majority of PAHs there.
These are some alternatives to using coal tar sealants. The picture is a Home Depot latex-site sealant display. We went there and we could only find alternatives to coal tar sealants, and we could not find any coal tar sealants in Home Depot. Latex-based sealers and acetate-based sealers are two alternatives pretty easy to get and priced about the same as coal tar-based sealers.
These are some alternatives that are used to coal tar sealants at Home Depot or Lowe's. So I went to Lowe's and I found some of these different alternatives to using them. You see that it says coal tar free, so that means that it looks like they want coal tar sealants not to be sold or used.
This is a comparison of driveways with different sealants. The picture on the very left shows a driveway without any sealant. The other three are all sealed with different sealants. You can't really tell which one looks better than the other. This shows that the alternatives, they look as good as coal tar sealants, but they still don't hurt the environment as much. Picture A is actually sealed with asphalt, picture B is sealed with coal tar, and picture C is sealed with latex.
So these are two people we met with from the DOE, which is the Department of Energy and the Environment. So Jeffrey Seltzer, we got his contact number from Derek Leon Davis, who is a councilman in Prince George's County, which is near where we live. And he helps ban coal tar sealants in Washington, D.C. and in Prince George's County. So he is the associate director at the DOE. He gave us the contact number for Zachary Rybarczyk.
Zachary Rybarczyk is an environmental protection specialist for the DOE. He gave us the following 7 slides and he showed them to the Washington, D.C. Council. We had a Skype conference with him and he answered some of the questions we had. We want to thank him for giving us help and support and answering some of the questions. The district's coal tar pavement sealant ban, current legislation, enforcement, and fine structure. Effective July 1st, 2009, it is illegal to sell, use, or permit the use of coal tar pavement products in the District of Columbia. Violators are subject to a daily fine of up to $2,500 and are required to remediate lots. For every day that coal tar is on your property, you must pay $2,500. Latest information on the DOEE's inspections. DOEE inspects at least 60 properties per year for compliance with the coal tar ban. DOEE inspectors reported finding 0 lots sealed with coal tar products in 2017. 11 of the 66 lots inspected between October 2016 and December 2017 were sealed. 6, or 55% of the sealed lots, indicated high pH levels during the field inspection tests. All 6 were found to be a new, non-coal tar product containing ethylene cracker residue. So although coal tar was banned, they're using something just as bad. This graph shows the pH concentrations by sealant type. These are 3 different commonly used sealants, and asphalt, as you can see, has the lowest average pH concentration. Coal tar is about 7%. This is the DOEE's proposal to add a 0.1% pH limit to Washington, D.C.'s current law. This prevents companies from using alternatives with high pH levels. Why 0.1%? This prevents companies from using alternatives with high pH levels. Products are currently available with pH concentrations well below the 0.1 limit, as you saw earlier. Also, an amazing statistic is that the European Union classifies road waste with 0.1% pHs or higher as hazardous waste. Also, 13 townships in southern Michigan currently have pH bans with limits set at 0.1%. This is the proposed legislation in other jurisdictions. You might live in one of these states. There are proposals for 0.1% pH limits or 1%. Although they're not all 0.1%, they're still much lower than the average of coal tar or any other sealant. Proposed legislative language. The DOEE proposes amending the district's legislation from 2008 with the following: adding high pH sealant products to the ban, which would include all sealant products over 0.1% pH by weight. That would be coal tar products, coal tar related products, and ethylene cracker residue. They will create a list of compliant products in the district. They want the authority to inspect potentially sealed properties.
This is some information about the Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Geological Survey. Bans in other local areas were helped with research done by these agencies, including the Washington, D.C. ban, 2009, the Montgomery County ban, 2012, Prince George's County ban, 2015, and Anne Arundel County ban, also in 2015. Currently, 40% of all Maryland residents are now under a coal tar ban, so why not us? 22.5 million Americans are currently under a coal tar ban. Are you?
This is a list of U.S. state and county bans for coal tar sealants. So what we're mostly focusing on is Annapolis, Maryland, Anne Arundel County, Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland, Prince George's County, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Home Depot stores throughout the U.S. and Lowe's stores. So we wanted Jon Weinstein, who we were presenting this to help us ban coal tar sealants in Howard County.
This is Dr. Miller and Peter Van Meter. They are experts in hydrological studies, including coal tar, PAHs, and their effect on the environment. They work for the USGS, which is a non-biased government agency. They have spent countless hours collecting data nationwide. We have read and analyzed many of their articles for this presentation. They spent time with us reviewing this presentation, providing feedback, facts, data, and graph analysis. We cannot thank them enough for all of their work with us and for what they do for the entire environment and our country.
So these are some politicians who are helping us. So United States Congressman from Austin, Texas, Lloyd Doggett, His proposed bill helped Austin, Texas become the first city in the United States to ban coal tar sealants.
Washington State Senator David Frakt proposed a bill that was passed in the House 64-32 and the Senate 36-12, making it the first state in the nation to ban the sale and the use of coal tar sealants. We contacted him and asked questions about how he was able to ban it in his entire state. Without him, we wouldn't be as far as we are now. Another important person we talked to is Howard County Councilman Jon Weinstein. Councilman Weinstein has fought to protect the Ellicott City watershed, as well as proposing projects to keep our water clean and environment safe. We presented this exact presentation to Councilman Weinstein, and he also agrees that coal tar should be banned. We're also asking for help from State Senator Bob Flanagan in an attempt to pass ban at state level. He really helped us, and there are no words to thank him enough. Thank you for listening. We hope you learned something about the dangers of coal tar sealants and PAHs and understood the need to ban coal tar sealants nationwide.